I will take a few questions before we disengage. Yes, ma'am. Whatever the projection of my voice was simply because there's no escape. So my primary target was my audience, but my voice projected because I'm in a public space, so there's no. Yes, ma'am. This one. Yes, yes ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm engaging you now. If you have a question, I'm happy. Yeah. Because I'm not going to impose. Yeah.
This is Super Mike. This is fair use. I thought this was such a powerful exchange. Dr. Wesley did a live event, and he happened to do the live event, I guess, somewhere in the Starbucks in Chicago. And he was going over some information about the dietary differences with Dr. Sabi and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's How to Eat to Live and the Nation of Islam. And because there was an event that he has on the show called Do the Math, and he had Dr. Sabi's son on there. So Dr. Wesley was going through the presentation, and then he started to take questions. And a couple of sisters from the Starbucks there where he was talking began to question him. And one of the sisters was very intense. And I wanted to play this because to me, this was a great lesson about how a strong man can handle a strong woman's questions. The women of today, this is a great lesson on how to handle the women, and the women will actually submit to the men naturally, and everybody will be fine. But it gets intense at first. But this is a great lesson to me for brothers out there, and that's why I wanted to go ahead and present this. So I want the audience to listen to the information, but more importantly, look at the technique that Dr. Wesley uses to handle the sister as far as the inquisition, the questions. Just look at his technique, brothers, because this is how you solve problems, and this is how you stay married, and this is how we deal with a black woman, because the black woman is going to naturally submit to right and truthfulness. So just look at that.
I'm so sorry. Well, I'm engaging you now. Let me rectify that right now. Any questions? Yeah. Whoever my audience is that wonderful question. My audience is whoever is willing to tune in. Whoever. Here or here. Whoever is willing to get here, that's my audience. Any questions from this audience or for this audience? I'm happy to take.
Right. So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had said something. You had said something thing that I wanted to question about. You had said you had said that Dr. Sage, I'm sorry, I had got distracted. You had said that you wasn't judging it too much based off of science, right? Based on everything. Now you think
No,
it wasn't
the
based on
opposite.
personality,
Right.
it's science. So my thing is they never ever tried to find personality with their peers.
What? Because that's my point.
This is my question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you were basically saying, okay, if they never, this is my point. If they never tried, it isn't it kind of like weird that we have a system where when you, I can make up a lip gloss right now, right? And I can say that it's made with coconut
Tom,
oil.
you want to share with us? Go ahead. We have great engagement from the audience here.
I have the if I say right now that I made a lip gloss that is pure coconut oil, Dr. Sebi came out with a diet that he said is proven to kill so many diseases. Hold on. He came out with and he never scientifically proved that side. Isn't that kind of curious to you? Why did
Well, I don't know that you so neither side for or against his claims of curing. Neither side scientifically proved one way or the other. Now, my argument.
Dr. Sebi, from my knowledge, I'm gonna say from my knowledge, he put it in a newspaper that he could do it. And the lawsuit came from that he was false.
Right, that's what I discussed. That's not true. That's a false narrative.
So
No,
he
ma'am.
didn't get sued.
No, ma'am. Not true. He got sued for practicing medicine without a license. That's very different.
Because he put in a new. Because he put in a new. Yeah, he
On
won.
practicing medicine without a license, he lost the case.
Uh-huh.
He lost the case, if you will, in terms of his claim to cure. That case ended.
If they never got
No. We need to have an understanding of the case. Most people who talk about the case don't know about the case. And so there's a popular mythic narrative about the case that people propagate. So this is the truth about the case. The facts of the case according to the public record. The state of New York Attorney General Roger Adams sued Dr. Sebi and his organization for practicing medicine without a license by receiving patients, medically diagnosing them, and then prescribing medicine to them based on that diagnosis. That's what the suit was for. Now, Dr. Sebi, the prosecution failed to prove that case, so Dr. Sebi won that case. It could not be proven that the reason he won the case was because
they couldn't prove that he was using medicine.
that he was practicing medicine.
Exactly.
So, and that's busted. I'm not practicing medicine. Y'all can't sue me for not having a medicine license.
Exactly.
So that was the victory. However, but this is the footnote that nobody wants to acknowledge. That same case that gave him the victory on regarding practicing medicine handed him a defeat regarding his claims of curing AIDS. That's the important point. He was defeated. That court case itself handed him a defeat in terms of his claims of curing AIDS. Yes, ma'am. It is right here. The restraining order. That court case, it began February 9th, 1987, it ended with a restraining order, disallowing him from ever making the claim or implying in the state of New York that he or any of his products cures AIDS, cures herpes, or cures anything. He signed that consent agreement. So he lost that aspect of the case. So he wasn't sued for that. So the narrative that the state of New York vindicated his curing claim simply not true, according to the public record. It's popular, but it's not.
So I get your point now. Now this is where I was understanding. They have signed it, but they never tested it, right? This is so his philosophy was never tested. You get what I'm saying? So for them, they made him sign something that they didn't know was true.
Understand? So
he
let me
agreed to
just.
it because.
Well, we can't give it because we can't say no because we don't.
Let me understand. It was never tested, but it was tested because we had a lot of people that were
manufacturers of and that's not what we're arguing. See, but be real clear. I'm not going to argue somebody else's argument. Our argument isn't over his health plan. That's not what my presentation is about.
That's what it sounds.
Well, I'm saying, but you were going in and out, so you didn't have the benefit of the full presentation. Right. So let me tell you what that's great. So let me tell you to hear from your brother what the point is. The point is that Dr. Sebi's dietary paradigm has value. That's why I said that. There are good things to come out of Dr. Sebi's diet. I said that there are aspects of his diet. I'm not making a claim on cure because we make cure claims too, and that's subjective. See, I can tell you this, that I've witnessed myself with my own eyes. This teaching cure people. But you have no reason to believe me. You don't know me. You can tell me that you were healed by Dr. Sebi or this person or that person. That's subjective. I have no reason to believe you. I don't know you. So I don't deal with those subjective claims. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care how many people you say you healed. That ain't going to impress me, nor is it going to turn me off, because I simply don't know. And I would never advance my experience with healing to make an argument to you. So so I need you to understand that ain't my point. My presentation was very different. My point is there are aspects of Dr. Sebi's paradigm that are wrong and harmful to the black man and woman in America.
So you just told me 30 seconds ago that you don't care about something you don't know. Right? You just did it.
No, that's not what I said.
What you say?
I said I don't care about your claims of healing.
Okay, so
I try to speak very nuanced. So understand that it's different. You said I never said I don't care about things I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I said I don't care about your claims of healing people, and I don't assume that you should care about my claims of healing. But very specific. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's say I'm Dr. Sato, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't know my claims because you never tested my
Yes, ma'am.
So how can you argue against it?
I don't. That's the point you're not giving.
You just told me. Argue against argument.
No, ma'am. No,
But
ma'am.
no, but listen. I want to hear how you contradict yourself. Listen, I want to learn. I'm learning.
So let me teach you. Let me teach you what I'm saying.
I want you to hear this. 3 people.
It's better for me to tell you what I'm telling you.
No, I want to see what you just said.
Okay, yes,
It's
ma'am.
3 people on the phone.
So notice when I'm looking at the technique of Dr. Wesley on how he's dealing with this type of questioning. She's telling him what he said, but he's trying to tell her what he is actually saying because she's getting it twisted up inside her head. But notice he continues to keep a smile. That smile disarms people, okay? This is what this is what people use this is how they get us black folks, even though Dr. Wesley is not her enemy, but that technique of smiling, okay, that helps us to resolve conflict because it conveys the message to the person that I'm not your enemy. We're just trying to get an understanding. So I just want us to look at that technique. So when you're having conversations, and difficult sometimes conversations, try to keep a disposition to the other person. Don't get angry if you can help it.
So you said that it's part of Dr. Sabi's thing is wrong. Am I correct?
I said aspects of his dietary paradigm are wrong for the black man and woman in America.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you ever tested him?
Yes, that was I'm speaking of. Absolutely, we have scientific facts on it. See, that's what you need to listen to me a little more nuanced. You are processing a little bit of what I said in the context of what you have in your head, and you're trying to match them, and they don't necessarily match. I am so what I speak of, the specifics that I speak of, yes, I have the scientific data on it. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. So don't assume that what's important to you is important to me. So aspects of Dr. Sebi's program that are important to you, don't assume that they are important to me so that I'm disagreeing. My disagreement is very targeted, very specific. I'll give you an example of a wrong thing. Dr. Sebi says, don't eat cauliflower. We in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad prescribed for black people eat cauliflower. Dr. Sebi said, don't eat cauliflower because cauliflower is white because it lacks carbon. And anything that lacks the carbon is not natural, so we shouldn't eat. Scientifically, that is a wrong statement. Cauliflower absolutely possesses carbon. Cauliflower has 29 grams of carbohydrates. You know what carbohydrates are? A compound of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So cauliflower does have carbon. It's white, sister, not because it lacks carbon. It's white because it lacks the pigment chlorophyll. So that's a specific case. And what Dr. Sebi is scientifically wrong. That's not my ignorance. That's not my opinion. It's a scientific fact that this claim made by Dr. Sebi is scientifically wrong. So the basis of his recommendation that black people don't eat cauliflower, the basis of that is scientifically unsound. That's an example of our point. But we can go through his dietary paradigm because I have it. I'm not speaking what I don't know. I limit my speech to what I do know. And what I don't know, I say I don't know, and I don't care in the specific case. But Dr. Sebi, in his dietary paradigm, he has good things. He has things that I'm good for black men and women. That's my point,
Okay,
sister.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said that it was scientifically proven that you should cover.
That's not what I said.
Okay, I don't think I'm delusional. What did you
Nah,
say?
you just not listening carefully
What did
enough.
you say?
I said that Dr. Sebi's science, Dr. Sebi's claim for cauliflower is scientifically unsound.
Did I just say it?
No, you said something different. You said that I said that it's been scientifically proven that black people should eat cauliflower. That's a different statement.
You said that you shouldn't eat cauliflower.
But I am saying black people should eat cauliflower. I am saying that.
You said we shouldn't because you said it was scientifically unsound. Let me put in your words. Scientifically unsound what Dr. Sabi said. Because it's carbon. It's
I'm
20
saying
grams of
that
carbon
what I
in
said
cauliflower.
was Dr.
I'm asking, I'm just
Right. So I'm answering. But you gotta listen to yourself. What I said then and what I'm saying now is Dr. Sebi made a particular claim on which he based his recommendation that we don't eat cauliflower.
right.
Also, notice the brother's tone of voice. When her pitch of her sound gets a little higher, he kind of goes up with her, but he doesn't exceed her pitch. So if she says, am I delusional? I'm not delusional. He's like, no, you could bring people down. You don't tell people, calm down. You just don't match their tone when they get excited, but you go up with them, but you just kind of go under. You go underneath that tone, and that will calm them down because you're kind of getting with them, but you're not exceeding their tone, and so they don't have to compete with you in tone. And when people compete in tone, it creates more energy. It creates more energy in that conversation, and that can escalate the conversation into where it's not productive. So when they get high in tone, You don't go too low because then it sends the message that you don't care at all, which is not good too because that can be looked at as disrespectful. But you go up with them, but now don't match them. Don't exceed their tone to try to compete with them. Just kind of say, well, yeah, yeah, okay. I mean, you're just something like that, and then you could tone it down. If you notice, that's what he did there. These are conflict resolution techniques that he's doing. He's using a technique on how to deal and how to have a conversation, the proper handling of people. And that's what I'm kind of looking at this conversation. And the information is interesting as well, but this video is mainly dealing with his way of handling uh, intense questioner.
And I'm saying that that claim is scientifically false.
Okay.
That's my point. And so, in terms of, I said what I
So
said
who
was,
said scientific? Can I
everyone who knows the scientific makeup of cauliflower, that's public knowledge.
add?
Dear sister. It's not a secret
The
that
same people that give
cauliflower.
us medicine?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am. It's not a secret
Okay.
that there's 29 grams of carbohydrates.
No,
in.
it's asking, so who's scientifically prove that?
No, that's public science knowledge.
Right.
So you got to
So it's
understand.
medicine.
What? No, medicine is a commercial industry.
Okay.
Because when you say medicine, medicine is a commercial industry, and the commercial industry of medicine is presumably anchored in science, but it's also anchored in business.
Mhm.
So I'm using science according to its literal meaning, medicine. So when you say, well, isn't medicine a science? It's supposed to be, but the medical industry has less to do with science and more to do with profit.
Okay, so when you go to school and you want to be a doctor, what do you get your degree
You'll get your degree and you'll get a medical degree.
in? Science.
Right.
So medical is science. The same people that go to school for science is testing the right? Which means they're
Not
part of-
necessarily.
How not? You can't test
Well,
anything.
but let me ask you
So
something.
basically, you basically saying the people.
Are you denying? See, we did
No.
that. Are you denying?
No,
Hold on. Are you denying that there's carbon, 29 grams of carbon? Do you think
no,
that
I'm
it's a
not denying.
conspiracy
I'm not denying.
impute? Okay.
I'm asking you.
So if we don't disagree,
No, we don't. I don't know. I don't care about things I don't know. I'm asking you.
so you don't know. So, and, that's a very legitimate question. No, that is a legitimate question. See, these are very different discourses. That should always be asked of anyone who comes forward. But what is your authority to say what you say? Now, I am a PhD. My PhD is in medicine. And so, no, it's not in medicine. And so, if you ask me what you should, on what basis do you say what you say? On what basis, for example, do you say cauliflower is good for black people? Because, no, but my language is specific. And well, yes, we are. We do have dietary needs. I would very much disagree with you. But that was the basis of my presentation. The black man in America does have very specific dietary needs that distinguishes us not just from white people, but even other black people. Now, but let's get back to, yes, because number one, you do understand this, the science then you would know that the most recent scientific evidence indicates that black people in America having suffered 400 years of American slavery and Jim Crow, that has altered our epigenetics, which alters the way our genes express themselves. So that means that we are genetically and epigenetically distinct from everyone who did not experience American white supremacy. That involves Africans who experienced colonialism, but not American white supremacy. No, it's very simple. The science of that, but the science says,
I just really want to know.
no, colonialism in Africa is very different from slavery in America. Okay, you could beg to differ, but there is no record. You can't point to any colonial state on a period of colonial that one lasted as long as American slavery, and two, that's different. Colonialism and neo-colonialism, we're aware of that. Right, because you may not be aware of the details of the Holocaust of American slavery. I understand. Well, then I cannot. I'm sorry, there's a factual disconnect. There's a factual disconnect. There's a factual disconnect. If you are saying you are aware of the details of what happened under the unique enterprise of American slavery, and you're saying you are familiar with the process of colonialism and neo-colonialism in Africa. If you are saying they didn't start at the same time. No, they didn't start at the same time. And the experience was not the same experience. You cannot compare American slavery with Western colonial and neo-colonialism. It's bad. No one is advocating that was evil over there. But our African sufferers of colonialism and neo-colonialism were not impacted in the way that Black American sufferers of American slavery have been impacted genetically, epigenetically, psychologically. They are different animals. That's just
I have a question for you. You still haven't, I'm just still, I mean, not to get off that subject, but you still haven't answered who proved your point. I just want to know.
Which point?
Because you're submitting your critical opinion. Because there's no difference that I can say.
Yeah, well, this is where we just don't.
Because you said it's scientifically true. When you say
Here's
it's,
the
yeah, so tell me where I can go.
here's the
Please, just, I
Yes,
don't
sir.
want to know if you can.
You want to know who proved that cauliflower has
No,
29 grams of carbohydrates?
No, that proves that cauliflower is good for you.
Okay, well, that's a different, you didn't ask that. We got that. Yeah. So, cauliflower has a chemical. Well, walk with me, be patient.
That's my name.
Cauliflower, what's your name?
My name is Patience.
Patient.
I got all the patience for you, baby.
Well, we're waiting on it. We're waiting on it.
I'm trying to be a fish.
We're waiting on it. No, you're not a fish.
No, I've been listening to you all day. And
So let's talk. Let me answer your question, but be patient with your brother and listen carefully, because there seems to be a disconnect with my talk and your.
okay.
So, cauliflower. I am saying cauliflower is good for Black people in America. Why is cauliflower? Now, I didn't say that there's some scientific studies that say that. That's not my claim. It's my claim that cauliflower is good for Black people in America. So you should ask me, why do you claim cauliflower is good
You
for
told
Black
us to
people?
have 20 grams of carbs.
No,
Why was it?
no. They are different discussions.
Okay, why?
That's what I'm saying. That there's a disconnect
Okay, why is it
between.
good for Black America?
So, but I need you to understand, because I think you're listening to argument.
No, I'm listening to
Okay.
understand because
All
I've
right.
never heard this
So
argument.
let's distinguish two
Okay.
things. I need you to mentally have patience with.
I got you.
The 29 grams thing ain't got nothing to do with why cauliflower is good for black people. That's a different subject. The 29 grams of carbohydrates is part of is the scientific fact that proves the error of a particular claim of Dr. Seth. That ain't got nothing to do with why black people should eat cauliflower. I didn't understand that. Now, to the separate question of why black people should eat cauliflower, it's not because it has carbohydrates. It's because it has a very different chemical in it, indole carbonol. Now, it is common knowledge of anyone who knows of cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower, kales, cabbage, broccoli, that they possess this chemical indole carbonol. That's not a scientist in a study who had to prove that. Every chemical analysis of the composition of cauliflower would tell you cauliflower has possesses this chemical, indole carbonol. And I, Wesley Muhammad, am saying that that is the reason black people should be eating. That's the right question. Now we are trending in the right direction, you and me. So it's a basic. Indole carbonol corrects the estrogen dominance that I.
Notice how he encourages her when she is starting to get on. See, they're starting to get in sync here. See, notice how he does it, and he rewards her and say, "See."
Spoke about. I don't know if you heard that part.
Black male have the most estrogen.
That chemical indole carbonol is what we need to correct that, because indole carbonol stops the process of our testosterone turning into estrogen. That's what that chemical does. That's why black people and black women need it too, because black women have all of these cancers that are estrogen based. Breast cancer that black women suffer from is an estrogen-based cancer because black women suffer from estrogen dominance too. So this chemical in cauliflower, indole carbonol, helps correct estrogen dominance in black men and estrogen dominance in black women. That's why I'm saying black people should eat cauliflower, because black people need to get that indole carbonol. That makes sense.
So what did
We
you
need to apply.
I'm gonna research it. I'm gonna definitely research it because I don't know. But I have a question. Where did you get your PhD?
In Islamic Studies, University of Michigan. And that's on Minister of the Nation of Islam. Are you familiar with the Nation of Islam?
I'm very impressed.
Praise belongs to Allah.
I got a stupid question now.
Yes, sir.
What about the kids who are allergic to cauliflower?
Yes, and you got them. The only anything you're not allergic to.
Peanuts. I mean, I'm allergic to nuts, pecans, pistachios. I can't.
Well, we would say you shouldn't be eating nuts anyway. But if you're allergic to cauliflower, early cauliflower, you can get indole carbonol from cabbage. So ideally, if one is allergic to cauliflower, it's not because he's or she is allergic to cruciferous vegetables in general. So if you can't eat cauliflower, you can get it from cabbage. You can't eat cabbage, you can get it from broccoli.
Okay, so I have a question. Was beef so people? Again, I'm not trying to come to people to know because I've never heard this.
I understand.
In order for you to convince more people, it has to be studies on it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you do a study, it's the ones that did, like the ones who didn't do it and the ones who did it. Am I correct? So who did the study?
What studies are you?
Oh, that's about what you're saying about the cauliflower. I can't say I've never heard of it, so I don't can't repeat it. So I'm saying who did the study that this lady ate cauliflower and she didn't get breast cancer.
No. That's
so
not how it
works.
works. Right. That's not how it works.
Okay,
And that's not the claim.
okay. Wait, no, you no.
So,
I'm not the record because
No, I understand. But we're gonna work it out. We're making progress.
Okay.
We're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out.
I'm sorry.
So-
I'm not gonna tell you what I comprehended when
Yeah,
you start, because I don't
yeah.
want you to go up what you see. This is what I comprehended from what you said. Black
Y'all hearing this? Is a great
black people
on the spot,
especially
in
black,
your face dialogue.
black people and especially black men, should eat things of cauliflower, cabbage, because they have a certain, how you say it?
In those three carbon.
Yes, that balance out testosterone, estrogen.
Notice how he got her repeating what he just taught her, and she's actually enjoying the conversation now. So with a lot of people, this conversation would have turned into an argument. But if you notice that she's enjoying the conversation based on the techniques, and she's respecting, and she's actually staying quiet because she recognizes that this man has the knowledge to teach her.
And women of color should eat it because it helps out with the breast cancer.
Right. Big one. So there's doubts. Science requires you take it step by step. Don't jump from A to Z. Follow the process. A, B, C, D. So this is the process. We use black women.
Okay.
Black women suffer from a peculiar form of breast cancer. Black breast cancer and white breast cancer are not the same. They're different phenotypes. Black women suffer from a breast cancer. It's more aggressive. And the scientific fact is that one of the causes of breast cancer is excess estrogen. Breast cancer is an estrogen-driven cancer. Are you with me? Believe that thing.
Okay.
To help prevent oneself. The problem context, a problem context that creates breast cancer, is this condition that I refer to estrogen dominant. A black woman having excess estrogen in her body is vulnerable to cancer. A black man with excess estrogen in our bodies, we are vulnerable to, for example, prostate cancer. I said breast cancer. Oh, no, that's right. So, in the problem of excess estrogen that leads to prostate and breast cancer, the problem is estrogen dominant.
Which black people cauliflower has.
No. The circumstance, the condition of estrogen dominance, having too much estrogen in your body, would lead to prostate cancer for men and breast cancer for women. No, no.
It's one of the causes.
It's one of the causes because there's many phenotypes of cancer. So I'm trying to connect the dots.
I'm listening.
So are we on the same page? The condition of excess estrogen makes a man vulnerable to prostate cancer and a woman vulnerable to breast cancer. You there? You can correct the problem of excess estrogen with this chemical indole-3 carbonol by putting in your body. This chemical indole-3 carbonol that helps solve the problem of estrogen dominance. It stops the process of the creation of excess estrogen in the body.
Right.
And this is how indole-3 ends. So then there's the next step. How does one get indole-3 carbonol? Now you can get that from many sources, but some sources, such as kale, you can get the good of indole-3 carbonol, but you also get the bad of this effect on the thyroid gland. So you want to access indole-3 carbonol from a source that isn't a Trojan horse.
Notice how the sister calms down and listens now. Once she realizes that the brother he knows what he's talking about. She begins to trust.
for something negative. So while there's many sources of endo-3 carbinol, kale, broccoli, cabbage, the best source is cauliflower. But if you can't eat cauliflower, then get it from cabbage. If you can't eat cabbage, get it from broccoli. So those are the steps, sister, by consuming endo-3 carbinol. It lowers your vulnerability to breast cancer and my vulnerability to prostate cancer.
That's your question. And then this is my question for a person that doesn't know. I'm a fat type of person. How is this proven? That's why I'm all I've been asking.
Which part? See, that's
Because
why
you keep telling me, I
yes.
want to know like the studies. Because in order for you to prove
So,
that you have
so I will give you my email address.
Okay.
Real simple.
Okay.
We'll email you a PDF copy. You tell me any specific study you're interested in, and I will email you a PDF copy of each one, and we will discuss what you got.
No.
Hold on, but let me ask you, does that satisfy you? Any study you want.
I have other questions.
Right, but I. Yeah, and so I just want to, right. So I don't want us to have to return to this point.
Yeah.
I want you to be satisfied.
Yeah,
any study, because see, look, we get I will give you my email address. And we can discuss that. But see, now we're going off on
No, I
campus.
got another question.
I will email
I
you.
can tell me that. That's
Okay.
still my next question.
No.
Okay, my next question is,
I
you
appreciate
said
your
that in black women, we have excessive estrogen, right?
And black men have
And black men,
excessive
okay.
estrogen. Yes,
And
ma'am.
eating cauliflower will limit that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So is it a study that white people eat cauliflower more cauliflower than us? Because why did them? Is there a study that they eat more cauliflower?
No, but I don't make that.
Okay.
Well, see, both of you are kind of thrown off by my language. Yes. Because that's my preoccupation.
Okay.
Black people is who my concern. So my discourse is about black people. And when I bring in white people, I'm very, very specific of the role they play in my discourse. So because I say black people need to eat this in order to correct that, you should not extrapolate and assume that I'm suggesting white folks don't eat cauliflower or white folks don't have cancer. White folks do have cancer, but that's not my.
You said they cancer are different.
Yeah,
You said
I say that breast cancer.
You said while black women are more intensive.
Yes,
so my question is white people less intensive because they eat cauliflower?
I don't know the connection.
So you should use
what
the
I
argument.
said. No, I don't understand your argument.
No.
So let me be clear.
No,
let me say my point.
You always say, I'm trying to get you to get my point. I'm a person that's listening. You said that white people, white women, excuse me, this is what you said. This came out your mouth. White women breast cancer
is a different
less
phenotype
intensive.
than black.
I'm sorry, Ian. It's a less
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you said that this is what you said. Like this is your word. I'm trying to remember your quotation, but I want just want to say I'm understanding. You said to the young lady right here, are you listening to me? Can you correct me if I'm wrong? He told you that white women breast cancer is less intensive, right?
That's severe. Yeah.
Less severe than black women. So my question to you is it because they eat cauliflower?
No, man.
So what is the reason?
It's because of the genetic.
Okay.
The different genetics between white women and black women.
So it doesn't have nothing to do with estrogen.
Well, it doesn't. The different. No.
It don't have nothing to do with estrogen.
What does it have? The fact that these two phenotypes are different.
Yeah. So you.
Estrogen is at the root of white breast cancer and
Right.
black.
But you said that.
And I said because it's a genetic difference between white women and black women, the phenotype of the cancer is different.
Because white black women have more estrogen. That's what you just.
No, man, that's not what I said. Yes. Yes, ma'am. I don't disagree with that. But this, but I don't. But I think when I say what I'm going to say, you'll see that we don't disagree too much. I don't posit a genetic origin of disease. I agree with you. But genetics plays a role in the manifestation of disease. It plays a role in the phenotype of the disease. Once you get it, I agree with you. The social context of the disease, I absolutely agree. Genetics plays its role once we succumb to disease. How that disease runs its course, the genetic host, the genetics of the host plays a role with how that disease manifests itself and runs its course. That's all. See, I told you we weren't too far apart. No, that is, we don't got to disagree. We do not disagree at all.
Right, that's all we're trying to
We on the same page. We don't disagree. I absolutely agree 100%. Well,
5%.
I don't disagree, but please understand that I was asking a specific question on the specific matter of the two phenotypes of the breast cancer.
That's what I'm trying to figure out where it comes from.
Okay,
Well,
can I get a word in your edgewise, ladies and gentlemen?
yes, sir.
How do you even frame yourself to have a proper diet when we live in a food desert? Because the food is genetically engineered, like they are genetically engineered tilapia, and they spraying the crop with the same chemical that Hitler used back in the day. They're doing chemtrails through the air. That's when they leave a trail of smoke behind. It's not smoke. It's chemical. They dump it on everybody. It's in Chicago. It's in LA. It's in New York. It's in Detroit. It's in everywhere. So bottom line, they're killing us all.
Is that how we found man-made?
So it's all about man-made. It derives from wild cabbage. Tail derives from wild cabbage. Evolution through selective breeding. So it's a man-made.
That's my question, right?
It's not a natural something that
It's not in a lab, but it's selective
How do you
breeding.
make
Yes.
it's not something that grew. It's something that they put together.
No. It is grown. But the selective soil, broccoli, and kale, kale is a product of selective breeding in the wild, not in the lab.
People are living too long.
Broccoli, kale, cauliflower, they derive from wild cabbage. Now, when you say man-made, I think synthetic. I think created in the lab. For example, the difference between Endo-3 Salmonella, Endo-3 carbinol, the chemical that is naturally found in cauliflower versus synthetic Endo-3 carbinol that's created man-made in a laboratory. Those are different. This is why we don't support synthetic vitamins. Most vitamins you will get from GNC, they're synthetic. They're not natural vitamins. They are literally created in the lab, and they have a different result than a natural vitamin. So I wouldn't say go to GNC and look for Endo-3 carbinol for vitamin. I can't say that. You may find one that has natural Endo-3 carbinol in it, but chances are, if you find a vitamin bottle of Endo-3 carbinol, chances are that chemical is man-made, not natural.
Okay.
So it's best to get it from cauliflower or cabbage or broccoli versus cheese.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, ma'am. Are we good? This is
I'm gonna say this. You definitely opened my eyes to other views. I'll say this.
that's the
I
other
would definitely
point.
be doing research to back up.
So I will let go.
To back
No, but y'all can stand down. She good, bro.
back down your
The
theory.
fruit roll up here.
To back down your theory, I definitely want to see improvement.
Yes, ma'am.
So I would definitely be giving you my email because I
Yes,
definitely want to
ma'am. It would be
But
fine.
it's not a policy. You don't know. You ask questions, and I
Absolutely.
have a lot. I still have a lot of questions because that's my friend listening. What you say? Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, what you were listening? Yo, roll up and body the information. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I just didn't get it. I mean, when you don't know,
You
I
asked
didn't
questions.
understand. I don't say I
That
agree.
is absolutely no,
I
and
don't know.
and that is
And
the
so
right.
until I know, I can't.
That's the right posture to take. This is
That's why
that's an absolute right posture to take.
But
So y'all with the anticipation. So y'all heard. Let's give Sister Patience some big black hair. She did the right thing. She don't know. But disagreement isn't that's right. Disagreement isn't wrong. That's the point. We learn from disagreement. It's a process. It's not always the smoothest or easiest process.
This is a hard conversation for me to hear. If that's
Well, I'm glad you didn't just close down and run out and leave your brother and leave with the thoughts that you may have had of me before you engage. I appreciate
I appreciate you listening to my questions. I know it's not hard to persuade me. You met my mother, you probably understand why.
your chip off those. That's
She raised a
wonderful.
strong woman, so I definitely am a
But God bless your mother.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely do. She's a fact checker, and she would have probably asked you way more tougher questions than me.
Yes, ma'am.
But she a tough person, but I definitely want you to get my email so that you can send me
Yes,
instead
ma'am. Absolutely. Well, I'll give you mine. Take it back.
And my friend said you have a Facebook, so she can watch it.
Yes. The Facebook is Wesley Muhammad.
You heard him, Destiny? Number email. What's your email?
It's DR Wesley WSLEY Muhammad MUHAMMAD @gmail.com. You email me. You mention any study you are interested in, and I'll email you a PDF copy.
I
Does
want
that work?
everything. I want all the studies. I need to know. I want to do that. So if your studies is right, I want to do it.
See, let me shake your hand on that. That's the point. That's the spirit. That's the posture. That's the only posture required of us. That we want to do better, and we open up.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's
That's that nigga. Uh-oh, I've been exposed. I've been found out.
my friend said, what am I asking about? This is the exact word.
She on the phone with one of her friends. Say, ain't that the nigga that was on Breakfast Club?
She wanted to ask about the marijuana.
Let me hot tell it out there. Yes, ma'am.
She
What
said
about
she
the
wanted.
marijuana?
She said, what about that?
I've been found out, Facebook.
Okay, she
Like
said
I
that
said,
she agreed with you about something.
But I probably know. So this is what we revealed on the Breakfast Club, and this is a general point. Cannabis, the plant, God made that. and it has great medicinal value. But the loud we smoke, that ain't that.
Right.
The weed we smoke has been weaponized. It's been manipulated in a way to feminize the black man and masculinize black women. It's been chemically altered in a way that harms black people. So while God's cannabis is good for the world if used properly, loud is very bad
Right.
for the world because it's a weapon. It's a chemical weapon.
Right. Okay, this is she said she agreed with you.
That's
It's
what's
hard
up.
to get her to say that. You must be right.
You say you're on the phone with your friend.
Yes, I'm on
She
the phone.
mentioned marijuana. I got scared, sister.
No, my best friend. She actually she's way more informed with a lot of things than I am. This is what she
I don't take you sisters here in Chicago lightly, this.
You should.
No.
Let's fast forward. I just want to go to the end because it's a lot of good stuff there. But see, he pretty much got her to calm down a little bit. But I want to get to this part.
Makes you cut to be a
And he starts
A lot of people,
complimenting.
but the word I want to say that
He starts complimenting her. See,
we lack that we didn't get. Our moms is young and our grandmas is young. And we lack attention. And we was before anywhere. My mom was 40. I'm 22. She was living her life while I was living my life. You get what I'm saying? My grandma is 50. You get what I'm saying? So we didn't have a grandma that I could go sit with my granny and take care of.
very important
So we
point.
lack attention. So if you wonder why the girls on Instagram, they lack a certain love that we didn't get. The generation before us got. My mama, grandma, when she was 20, was 60. You understand what I'm saying? She lived her life, so she had all the time to love my mom, even when my grandma, when my mom couldn't, when my grandma couldn't. But then again, I have a young mom that's 40, who did her best. You get what I'm saying? So if we lack attention, we lack love. So it's a spy out. Same thing for the black boys. They lack respect because they lack fathers. They look for this feeling that they don't have. They don't have a home. So that's why I try to explain to my mom. I mean, I'm not going to speak for myself because my mom raised all 8 of her children and we all lived in the same home. She did her best, but she was young. You get what I'm saying? And when you're young, you make mistakes. You get what I'm saying? That's why.
so now we see a little bit of the history from the sister. Her mother is 40 years old. She's the oldest of 8 children. And so her mom had to be pretty much aggressive. Her mom's aggressive and she's aggressive. But if you notice how the brother was able to deal with that and get her to actually calm down, and notice how the brother is listening to her. So she's feeling pretty good because she has an ear and she's getting able to express herself and to, explain her story. And he's showing her how valuable she is because he's going to start complimenting her. See, these are all techniques that the brothers have to learn how to use.
I haven't had any children at this age.
You are very brilliant, sister. You have a very mature perspective to be 22. I'm curious your background. You say you have 7 siblings?
I'm the oldest of 8.
The oldest.
I'm the oldest of 8. My mother has 4 daughters, 4 sons.
How long have you been so intellectually inquisitive?
Well, my mother is very mature too, and she talked to me my whole life about the experience she had. So I'll give her a lot of credit. I'm very spiritual. My grandmother taught me that. Talks with God, and also life experiences have changed my opinion on a lot of things. I will say I was always this mature learner. I was also looking for love in the wrong place. I love it too, but I learned early that everybody can't get it.
Well, you are a leader, sister. Okay? I think everyone here, you exude the energy of leadership. So you said it right a little while ago. It's not an accident that you came to this Starbucks. It's not an accident that I chose this Starbucks, even though had I known it was under this management, I would have went to another Starbucks. But it wasn't. It was to be just as it is because we see leadership. Now you know what? Even so, on Friday, at that mine, something different happens on Friday than on Sunday. On Sunday, we come and we listen to wisdom from a lecture. But on Friday, you know what we do at that mine? We sit in a circle and we intellectually exchange. So it's not just you or me listening to somebody speak, but we're in a circle and you get to share your thoughts and your perspective with the circle. So I think you will find our study group on Friday evenings at 7:30. I think you will find it enjoyable. And I think the study group, those who are there will benefit from you coming and sharing your Black God mind. No, that's real
I
talk.
appreciate it. I just want to make a difference. That's it. Hey, Eric,
Oh,
how you
you've
doing?
already made it different.
Thank you.
You've already made it different. You made it different here tonight.
Thank you so much.
And you are going to have a tremendous impact on your community. Sister Patience, make sure you email me.
I'll leave it.
We don't want to lose you. We don't want to use you. You got leadership. And your mental posture, the posture you take, I ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say unless you persuade me with it. That's the right posture. And most of us don't have it. And that's why most of us aren't cut to be leaders. But the way you think makes you cut to be a leader.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
You know? This was wonderful. Well, y'all ain't expect that. I ain't expect
I'm sorry.
it. No, this was a blessing.
Yeah, I meet a lot of people here. First off, they get attracted by my name because my name is Patience, and they got and they get to talk to me, and I be on my way out the door, and I'm like, oh, okay, and they talk to me. So I meet a lot of them too. But it's cool to meet people in here for different perspectives because I don't know my life. Me, my life, can change my life to live his life. I did.
Anyway, so I just wanted to play that. To me, that was great technique from the brother. Of course, the information, you can go to Dr. Wesley's channel to hear from the beginning, get the full information. But I was pretty much focused on the technique. I mean, of course, the information is definitely important as far as our diet, as far as building bridges between the people in the community. Um, we got to know how to have proper conversations, how to disagree with each other in a good, respectful manner, to where we're proving our point, but we don't get so angry with each other that we disrespect each other in ways that's not helpful. Uh, so I just think that's a really good one. This Super Mike, and I think that's it there.